All right. I get a lot of my inspo from Facebook on what the topics should be about on the National Wake Up Call. And many people were saying that they just cannot juggle it all. This coaching, this, learning on Zoom, their kids are on Zoom in school, they're Ubering, they're wearing all these hats, right? Parents, we all wear so many hats. But time management is not that sexy topic that you're looking for. You can find that in a book of how to manage your calendar. But when I talked to this coach and I found out what she's doing to keep it all together and and I don't want to say balance, but she is managing quite nicely, having become a 15-star diamond only 4 years into the business. Let me say a few things about Hannah Roberts before I bring her on. She started coaching 4 years ago in 2016, a little bit, almost 5 years ago. And she has now achieved the 15-star diamond status. She has been an elite coach twice, and she has already qualified to be a 2021 elite coach. So we're excited about that. Now, Success Club. She has achieved Success Club every single month for 56 months. Now, if you do the math, that's all the years that she's been a coach. So she's been helping people every single month, at least 3 new people, and she has hit Success Club. So please bring her on. Right now, she's from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Hannah Roberts. Yay!
Hey, Sandy, thanks for having me.
Hey, Hannah, I'm really excited. We've been working together on this topic and going back and forth on what it means to you to balance it all. So I'm going to step out of the way, and why don't you let people know what brought you to Beachbody in the first place?
All right. Guys, about 5 years ago is when my life changed completely. And I've never been so thankful for that opportunity. But I want to tell you how I got to that opportunity. So I always grew up dreaming that I wanted to be a teacher. I knew that that was the one thing that I was meant to do. And so I went to college, I became a teacher, and I taught at a Title I school in Columbia, South Carolina. I was a kindergarten teacher there for about 5 years, absolutely loved what I did. But I kind of hit that 5-year mark where, teaching became emotionally exhausting, financially draining. I was finding that every penny I was making, I would spend on my classroom or on my low-income students. And I knew then that I needed to find something else. I just didn't know what. And it happened to be at a time in our life where we were about to get married, and my husband was transferred down to Charleston, South Carolina. So we packed up, we moved to Charleston, and I started teaching at a small private school there. Once again, loved what I did, loved what I was doing. I was a really good teacher, if I do say so myself. But I found myself again in that position where I was just drained at the end of the day. I was pouring into my students. My bank account was drained. As my husband says, I have champagne taste with a beer budget. And I was just, we were trying to keep up with the social life that we wanted in our new city, and we just couldn't. And so I started babysitting. I started tutoring kids after school. I got certified in personal training. And I was working 4 different jobs, trying to balance it all. My days were from about 4 a.m. until 10 p.m. some days. And I was taking care of everybody else and not taking care of myself at all. My husband was neglected. Our relationship was neglected because I was trying to do all these different jobs just to make ends meet. And that's no way to live. Well, my last year of teaching, I taught a little girl, and her mom, Moira Kusaba, had just started coaching. I think she was a month or 2 in, and she relentlessly invited me to this opportunity. And I turned her down every single time. I actually turned her down, to the fact where I would hide in my classroom when I would hear Moira and her daughter walk through the hallway, because I was scared of saying no again to this opportunity. But I just couldn't do it. I had all of the excuses. I had no time. I had no money. I thought I was too good for Beachbody. I was a personal trainer, and I just thought I was too good. But I continued to babysit for Moira and her family. And I had a firsthand experience at watching Moira's life completely change. her mom, so her daughter's grandmother, was no longer the grandmom picking her up at, in carpool. She was no longer the grandmother at the class parties. It was Moira. Moira was always there. She was showing up because she had found this freedom and this flexibility. I saw her relationship with her husband change completely. I was in their house all the time babysitting, so I got to see this change. I got to see the joy come back in Moira's life. I got to see her be that mom that she always wanted to be. And I, observed the financial situation change. And I knew right then and there that was what I wanted. I wanted to be that mom. I wanted to be that wife. I wanted to be that business owner. And I finally, after 9 months of Moira reaching out, she never once gave up on me, never once missed a month of inviting me. It was about 20 degrees outside on February 2nd, and I sent Moira a text and I was like, whatever, I'm in, I'm doing this. And that was the day that my entire life completely changed in every aspect.
I love this story so much because it is pure evidence that what you're doing is inspiring others. And it is also for any new coaches that are watching or listening right now, that whatever you're doing, it is working, but it doesn't happen overnight. It took 9 months of Moira continuously just living her life and posting how happy the changes she had made. And you were watching this, and it wasn't until the timing was right for you that you came out of hiding from the classroom and decided. So I love that story, and I hope that other people can see that it is not just a single transaction that you ask someone and they sign up. This is a trust thing, and it is a timing thing. So I so appreciate you sharing that story. Now, let's move on to this topic. You have kids, you had multiple jobs, you were spinning plates, you were juggling it all. Okay, so talk about what this topic means to you personally, and why don't you just go into what you prepared?
All right, so yes, I've got 2 children now, and I'm 4 years into the business, and obviously what I do every day for my business looks different than it did when I started 4 years ago. When I was working 4 different jobs, now I'm a superstar diamond. I've got teams who are working with coaches, and it now looks different, but I am still trying to juggle and balance and manage it the same way I was 4 years ago. When Sandy and I started talking about this topic, it was originally proposed as work-life balance. And I was like, I don't like that for multiple reasons. But first of all, like, what is balance? Balance looks different for everybody. Because some people, balance has to look perfect for certain aspects. For me, none of it looks perfect. I want to continue my mom life, my wife life, my business, my social life. I want to continue it all, and so I've had to figure out how to manage it and how to have it all work smoothly, not perfectly. And with work-life balance, I hear this emphasis on work first and then life second. And that's not why I got into this job. That's not what anybody should feel with their job. I love just like having it all, being able to be that perfect, or not that perfect mom, being able to be that rock star mom, a successful business owner, a happy wife, a engaging friend. I love being all of that. And I don't want to put my emphasis all on work or all on family and leave any part behind. All of it matters to me. And so I just have had to figure out how to make it work smoothly. While I'm obsessed with Beachbody and I bleed Beachbody blue, I'm not a Beachbody robot. I got into this because I saw the freedom in all areas of life that it brought to Moira. I didn't get into this because I wanted to work a 9-to-5 job, right? I wanted to quit all 4 of those jobs because I wanted to be able to stay home with my children and be that present mom, be the room mom. I wanted to be that happy, engaging wife and not somebody who was a slave to her job. And so I've had to figure out how to make it work. And 4 years ago when I was working 4 different jobs, I had to work this into pockets of my day. And it was not uncommon for my husband to walk into the bedroom and I would be in my robe and I would be holding my hair dryer with my feet, my phone in my hand, checking in with my challengers, touching bases with my coaches, sending out invites, sending out birthday messages, doing all of the things while blow drying my hair and getting ready for work. I would listen to PD while I was driving between jobs. But I had to make it work into pockets of my day. And now, as a mom with 2 littles, I still am sometimes found on the bedroom floor in my robe, holding my hair dryer with my feet, talking to my coaches, checking in with challengers, breaking up fights with my 1 and my 3-year-old, and I'm just trying to make it work. So guys, I want you to know, yes, I'm a superstar diamond. My business life does not look perfect. I don't have these perfect systems, but I have fun with this job, and that's what matters. I have fun in life. I have fun with my husband. I have fun with my children. And to me, that is what is going to create this perfect balance. It's just having fun with it and making it work, smoothly. It wasn't until September this year that I got a babysitter. So obviously, Charleston, our lockdown has been lightened a little bit, but the whole first of the year, I had a newborn and COVID, and we were building and pushing to superstar. And I didn't have a sitter. I didn't have extra help. And so I had to figure out how I was going to make this business work. And that is when I became really strategic with what I would do during my working hours. And, yes, I could have a full-time nanny, but I don't want that because I keep going back to my vision of Moira. And I keep going back to knowing that I want to be that mom who is always present. And guys, I know that being a stay-at-home mom or being a full-time mom isn't for everybody. I know that. But that is something I've always dreamt of. And, I always just dreamed of being that mom at home with her children. My vision was big, but my passion for helping people was even bigger. And so finding Beachbody has been incredible because I've been able to fulfill that vision of being home with my children and also follow that passion of still being able to help people. And so, I don't strive to be a perfect mom, run a perfect business, be a perfect wife, but I do try to make it run seemingly perfect or seemingly smoothly, sorry. But all of that being said, I do have big goals for my family. I have big goals for my team, big dreams for my team. And so I really, at the beginning of COVID, I guess, back in February, I had a little 3-month-old and I'm figuring, okay, I have to figure out how this is going to work. And that is really when I figured out that I had to write it down. I had to create this calendar. And so the first thing I do in my business every single Sunday is I write it down. I've got a calendar. I use my Rise Up journal and I pencil in or I pen in everything. Like from the second that I wake up in the morning to the minute I go to bed, I have it scheduled out. And I start with, of course, like my non-negotiables. My workout, that's the first thing I do in the morning. And then I write in any non-negotiables as far as the national wake-up call, mastermind calls, team calls. I put that all into my calendar. And then because if I don't have that on my calendar, I either will forget about it because I'm a busy mom, or I won't make it a priority. And to me, to move my business forward, those are priorities. The next thing I do is I know that from 9 to 11, that is my nap time. And that is when I schedule out any one-on-one calls with my coaches. That is when I do a power hour or an action hour. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I have to have this on my calendar. It's sad that I have to have all these things written down, but I know that if I don't, I'm either going to forget about it or I won't make it a priority. And that's not going to move my business forward. Before I wrote it down, I would find myself like responding to messages here and there while doing the dishes, while kind of sort of listening to either the national wake-up call or PD or whatever it might be, while listening to team calls or trainings. And, I was just trying to do all the things and it wasn't getting anything done. I was kind of sort of working and kind of sort of momming. And that's no way to run a business. That's no way to mom. And so I quite literally write everything down. I schedule in play dates, obviously doctor's appointments, girls' nights, date nights, because all of that is important to me. And if I don't make time for my husband, if I don't make time for my friends, if I don't make time for my children, I'm going to experience the burnout that we are all familiar with happening. And I don't want that. I love this job so much, and I don't ever want to have resentment. I don't want to have my husband or my children hold grudges that I spend too much time working. So I quite literally schedule everything into my calendar. And then as far as my power hours or my action hours, those are an hour where I break out my Success Club tracker. And guys, if you are new in this business, or even if you are 4 years in like me, the Success Club tracker is so important to help move your business forward. It gives you intentional tasks to do that are going to move your business forward. And no, I don't just do the task and check it off. I really thoughtfully do it. And I follow these income producing activities. I don't scroll social media, but I use this Success Club tracker during my power hour or during my action hour, because it quite literally tells you, I think it's an hour and 15 or hour and 30 minutes of stuff to be doing. And I know that during nap time, I can get that done. Of course, he's a baby, so sometimes he wakes up. And so that is why I've gotten a sitter. I have a sitter come 3 times a week for a few hours a day, and that is it. That is why when Sandy talked about the title of this call being part-time coaching, full-time adulting, that really meant a lot to me, because I don't work this business 9 or 10 hours a day. I know that I can intentionally work for 3 hours a day. Of course, when my kids are awake, and if I can answer phone calls or messages, I will. But I find myself that if I get all my work done in 2 hours or 3 hours in the morning during nap time, I'm a much happier mom, happier wife, and more successful coach, because I'm intentional about that working time. I remember being at a New Leader Conference a few years ago, and I heard Melanie Mitro say, "My family deserves the best of me, not the rest of me." And that meant so much to me, because I did start this business so that I could be that present mom. And I love that that's what this business is about. It's about flexibility. So it's going to look different for everybody. And of course, every day looks different. Sure, I'm a successful coach some days and I fail at momming. Sometimes I fail at my job and I'm a rock star mom, but that's okay. That's what this business is about. And it allows that room for you to be successful. And I know that on the days that I do fail as a coach or I fail as a mom, I have tomorrow. Guys, it doesn't have to look perfect every day. It doesn't have to look a certain way. You just have to find what works for you. And this is what I have found that works for me, is writing it down on the calendar, scheduling in my power hours, using my tracker during power hour so that I get those intentional tasks done and I don't just scroll social media. And then I make my priorities clear. My husband knows when I have team calls. Sundays and Monday nights, he knows that he's on solo dad duty. And that being said, also, my team knows that on Wednesdays and Thursday nights, I put my phone down and I spend time with my husband. Of course, after I get my work done, because I know that during the day and the afternoon when my children are awake, I'm not getting all my work done. And so when I do put them down at nighttime, my husband knows that I do need to spend about an hour checking in with my challengers, making sure my coaches are okay. And then I put my phone down and we have dinner together. We might watch a show. We just spend time together because that's important to me. The weekends are important to me. My friends are very important to me. And I think it's important too that our coaches and our challengers don't see us as a slave to this business, and that they don't see us always on our phone at the click of a text. And so sometimes I will receive texts and I'll see them and I will put my phone down, because I don't want my coaches to think that this job has to be where you are accessible 24 hours a day. And so, while we do work from our phones, it's a beautiful and a challenging thing, because it makes it hard to take it off night, to take it off, to be off duty. And so I just have to be strategic. I have to make my husband or my friends or my job a priority at that time. And when I am working, I am all work mode, and my husband knows not to, bother me. Of course, sometimes my daughter makes a a cameo on team call nights, and that's okay because I can run this business alongside of her. But when I am with my husband or when I am with my children, I really do have to make it, I have to set boundaries and I have to set expectations, and I can't be accessible all the time to my phone, or else I feel like I'm failing at it all. But for me, this is how I balance the work, the mom, the wife, the social life, is I have to do those three things. Writing it down on a calendar, using my Success Club tracker, and then making my priorities known to my husband, to my friends, and to my coaches, and to my team.
Hannah, that was so good. I read something this morning that a teacher wrote that said, I am not available 24/7. I'm not a 7-Eleven. And it just made me think of what you just said. You also said a few things about being that rock star mom. And rock stars are not perfect either. So you're doing a great job. So pat yourself on the back. You're your own cheering squad. I'm very, very excited. And later today, I want you to show me how you blow dry your hair with your feet. Okay. Thank you. And now, if you take the kids to school, will you see any teachers hiding from you and running into the closet?
Probably will. I probably will.
That was so clear, and it was so easy to understand that you're making your priorities clear, and you are family has always come first for you. I really appreciate your honesty in that, and you seem like you're really fun to coach, to be coached by. So thank you for today's topic. And now for the closing of the call. In the last 4.5 years, you've experienced the joy of coaching. Do you want to share how fulfilling it has been for you?
I will. And of course, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success, of income. It's up to each coach's hard work. I have to say that. But guys, 4.5 years ago, I never could have imagined that I'd be living the life that I am today in all aspects. My relationship with my husband, I have the best of friends, and that is from this coaching community. The joy that I have in life, the energy, living my healthiest life after having 2 children is incredible. And one of my favorite stories, this just happened to pop up on my Facebook memories, actually. It was a picture of me working in my daughter's playroom at a makeshift desk 2 years ago. She was about 18 months. And the picture said, I don't know if you call this accountability or vision board material, but I can't wait. But I cannot wait for the day that I'm sitting in my big, beautiful office in my dream home and think about the long days and nights that I hustled alongside my daughter in her messy playroom and built her future. And here I am exactly 2 years later from that post, sitting in my dream home in my big, beautiful office, building a life for my 2 children and my husband and I that I never dreamed possible. Like, talk about full circle, coming from the girl who was living overdraft fee to overdraft fee and stressing over, how we were going to pay every bill. I never imagined that life could be so dreamy. But it's just as sweet as living in our dream home. It's that I'm now able to send my daughter to a private school. I have a babysitter. I have the flexibility, but I'm also my daughter's room mom. And so I get to be that mom who's building an amazing business and building an amazing future for my family. And I still get to be in that classroom whenever I want to, COVID allowing. But I get to be present in all the areas. And what's even sweeter than that is that I'm helping other women reach their potential and either walk away from jobs that restrain them or become successful coaches, present mamas, amazing wives, and just happier overall. And that to me is like a dream come true.
I'm so glad you said that, because everybody's dreams are different. And when you say that you're living in your dream home, it's a different dream than someone else's dream home. It's not a dream home like you see on television of the rich and famous, massive houses and rooms. It's what you wanted from your life to make you happy, and you worked hard to make that dream come true. I'm so happy that you were on today. It was a great topic, and thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you for having me.
And I started the call today, you guys, just about being about balance. And really, there's no such thing as us having to balance it all or needing to balance it all, because it just doesn't exist. That just creates more anxiety to try to be perfect. And we don't need to strive for perfectionism. We need to just strive for progress. I know I've shown this card before because it's just a great reminder to all of us that progress is so much more meaningful than perfection. So, with that, I'm going to say happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you here next week. Bye bye.